What's going on YouTube? It's your boy JJ Bizzle, coach of the Peoria Pidgeots, bringing you the Week 0 Power Rankings. And we are joined today by two coaches in the DGBA as well. You guys want to introduce yourselves? Haz?
Hi, my name's Haz, and I am the coach of the London Arsenal.
Hello, everybody. My name's Gengaraichu. I'm the coach of your New England Patriots.
The New England Patriots. All right.
Patriots.
It's got to be pronounced like that?
Yeah, it's Patriots.
All right, it's Patriots.
Patriots.
All right, so we are going to be going down the list 16 to 1. These are a conglomerate of power rankings. So we took mine, we took Haz, we took Gengar's, we averaged them out, we put them in a list for you guys, and it's we got some fun things to talk about today. We have some teams out of place. It's gonna be pretty interesting. So going down the list, we're gonna start right off at number 16 if I can load it up here. So at 16 we have the New York Komo-o-o-os, the cereal. Does that not sound like a cereal to you guys?
Yeah,
It doesn't.
Like you guys see where I'm coming from with that?
yeah.
Nope.
So-
It'd be like one of those like ring sort of cereals.
Yeah, exactly. Like Cheerios, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Komo-o-os. They're all in like the Komo shape, and then you have like I don't even know what the Jamaican. What are
When
the
you
pre-evolved
when you
ones
eat them, you breathe fire.
You-
You also get +1 in all of your stats.
called? Yep.
Yeah,
I like.
that sounds like my kind of cereal.
Hey, yeah, that's all right. We gotta buy that cereal. We should make that cereal. We should make it. All right.
Official DGBA product.
Yeah, we're gonna be selling it soon. So this is a pretty even team for all of us. I think I had them at 14. Gengar had him at 16, and then Haz had him at 14 as well. Which that averaged out to be the highest one, which is weird. All these teams
Yeah,
are really good.
How did that average out to 16?
Well, okay, no, it averaged to 15, but every other team was below him. Do you get what I'm saying? You get
Above
what,
him.
yeah. No, we're below.
Okay.
Above
Yeah.
him, below him, whatever you want to call it. But all right, so I don't know who I can actually start this one off. So we're looking at the team. We have Manaphy, Mega Glade, Florges, Registeel, Crocodile, Serena, Salamence, Heliolisk, Dusknoir, Gar, Boater, and Lycanroc Dusk. I put this team at 14 myself because, his Z-move user is Manaphy. I used Z Manaphy last year myself. It's very predictable. Sometimes it can be hard to decide if you want to bring like Z Rain Dance, you want to bring like Z Energy Ball. I think it's a predictable Zmon. I know Zero touched on that in his video a little bit. Just for me, Manaphy can be a little bit predictable. Obviously, you can kind of tech it however you want as far as defensive, especially defensive things like that. But I think it's a pretty predictable Z-move user. Also, my problem is with his bulk. His bulk seems to me like it is very non-tanky, because we have tanks that can deal a lot of damage. Florges, Registeel aren't doing too much damage on the bulky side, and they kind of can be setup fodder. Also, that's actually my last point was the setup fodder of Florges and Registeel. I think it's a good team. Like I said, every team is very good, but just for me personally, this is one of my lower end teams just because I think it can be set up on myself. But what do you guys think?
I think going on with your Manaphy point, I think Salamence would have probably been a better Zmon because sort of because it can set up to +1, and then you can put a Z move onto its counter, something to counter its counter. So and that can mean that's a very, very, very scary mon. But I think Manaphy can still be a really good mon without Z moves, so
Yeah,
that's why I'm sort of a bit iffy on it.
I agree.
But I wouldn't say Manaphy on its own is like particularly predictable because sometimes it depends on how you use it. Because sometimes you could bring stuff like Rest with Rain Dance. You could bring Calm Mind if they have something. If they count as like a Clefable, for example, an unaware Clefable, you can bring Calm Mind. So then it can't beat you 1v1.
Right.
Another thing I find is a big problem with his team. His wall call is it's all right, like you said, it's passive, but a lot of it doesn't have reliable recovery. I think the only ones being Serena and then Florges, which wish passes into a lot of his other mons.
Exactly.
So I feel like it's really, really reliant on wish pass.
Yep, I agree completely. Gengar?
Yep. So a couple things. I like his Fairy Dragon Steel core. I like to look at the cores a lot. I think Florida's Registeel and Salamence is incredibly defensive. But when you're looking at his Fire Dragon Fire Water Grass core, you'll notice that he actually doesn't have a Fire type, which is something I really don't like about this team because Fire types can really help deal with those Grass, Bug, and like those Steel types that this team doesn't really appreciate. And another thing is other than like Manaphy, I kind of noticed his team is really lacking like a good special attacker, which like forms of slight offensive imbalance, which lets your opponent like run like more physically bulky monsters to deal with your big threats. And what was one more? Oh yeah, I definitely agree with the Z captain. It should have been Salamence, definitely not.
I agree completely.
Manaphy.
I think that also, if he would have went Z Salamence, it would have gave him a little bit more of a special attacking possibility because he only has Heliolisk plus Manaphy. And I mean, you can plan for. I mean, I'm not saying a good Steel type can handle both those on the specially defensive side. So yeah, I think you're completely right. If he would have went Z Salamence, it would have given him a little bit more flexibility in that special department.
One thing I'm kind of noticing: any team that brings Sand is going to completely destroy this team.
That's fair. Yeah.
Because Sand beats Rain in most cases.
Most cases, yes, I agree completely. So that we have the New York Komodos at 16, even though they have their wonderful Komodo cereal. So next up we have at 15 the Armaldos. Okay, so with this ranking, you had him at the highest. You had him at 11. So we are gonna let you go ahead and lead off with this one.
I think the strength in this team heavily is to do with its cores, particularly the Rotom Wash, Ferrothorn, and the Alolan Muck core. I think that's going to be very hard for teams to really break down. Plus, you have a really good Wish Pass from Licky Licky. My biggest gripe with this team is that his wall breaking power, I think, is rather lacking. He seems like he's going to have to rely a lot on Terrakion, and he also has Tyrantrum, but that's also pretty similar. So, I do like Mega Altari on this team. I think it complements really nicely with Ferrothorn. But overall, I do like this team. I think it's a bit. He has a lot of similar types, but he can definitely do good things with this team. But I definitely do see there are quite a few flaws with this team.
All right, let me step in here because I had him at 15. So I actually had him at 15 where he's at. So I'm not bashing on the team. I think the team is wonderful defensively. It's great. I mean, you can't argue with Rotom Wash plus Ferrothorn plus Alolan Muck into Mega Altaria into Shaman, Licky Licky. I mean, you can't argue with those things. Like his defense is, and Starmie even on the defensive side is wonderful, and gives him that spinner that he needs. But my biggest thing is like, okay, so you got plenty of defense. Now what? You know, you're gonna have to bring Mega Altaria in an offensive fashion every single week. Like, it's not gonna. I mean, it can't be. It can be Cotton Guard, obviously, and I know Mega Altaria can do a lot of things. But he's going to have to bring Mega Altaria every single week, no matter what, in my opinion. It's going to come no matter what, 100%, because he needs that offense. Because his only two offensive mons are, Terrakion and Tyrantrum, really. I mean, if you want to call Delphox a, offensive mon, but that's definitely decently easy to plan for. But his offense is Tyrantrum, Terrakion, and then obviously he has some kind of decent offensive mons in Shaman, Rotom Wash. But he's going to have to bring Mega Altaria in that fashion every week, in my opinion. I think it's predictable and limited on offense, so he's going to struggle sometimes in some games with some teams with pretty good defensive cores that can kind of match him wall to wall, but better offense, that can kind of break down Rotom Wash and Ferrothorn. But that's just my opinion. So, Gengar, what do you got?
All right, so one of the biggest gripes I have with this team was the lots of overlapping types. He has 2 water types in Rotom Wash and Starmie, 2 grass types in Ferrothorn and Shaman, 2 dragon types in Altaria and Tyrantrum, and there was one more. What was it? Think. 2 rock types in Terrakion and Tyrantrum. Mm-hmm. So that really, I'm a little more okay with the water types just because that's a good type to have a couple mons of. But rock, steel, and grass, those are all types you don't really want to have a lot of overlaps of, especially because that can actually lead to kind of a common ice weakness on his team, which is he has Resistor, he has Piloswine, he has Delphox, he has Ferrothorn, but that's not really something that he wants to be having to worry about.
Right.
A couple good things about this team. He has a great rapid spinner in Starmie, a great hazard setter in the form of Ferrothorn. The previously mentioned like Alolan Mach Ferrothorn combo is going to be really tough to beat. And yeah, one more bad thing about this team I have to say about is that wall breaking potential. Just like what are you going to do other than Terrakion or Altera? You don't really have much, and there are situations where both of those mons aren't good. So you have
they're not going to be able to break through every single wall. So, yeah, I just don't think the balance is there with this team. But like I said, if you have a very bulky team, you can still give a lot of teams a lot of problems if they don't prep correctly. So I think this team's still going to win a lot of games. It's just the potential
not all of them
climbing the ranks. Yes, is we'll see what he has in store for us. So we're going to go down to rank number 14, and the New England Patrats comes in at 14. Whatever, it works. So. I had this team at 14. Has had him at 14, and then Gengar.
I had him at 14.
Yep. So we were all pretty even cut there.
Actually, I had me at 13, but same difference.
Yeah, pretty close to the to everybody. So looking at this draft, I can start us off if we'd like. So I think Jirachi is one of the best mons in draft format. It's just it's really good at because it can do everything. It's just one of those flexible mons that can do absolutely anything. It can be defense, can be offense, can flinch you to death. Obviously the flinch core is there with Togekiss, Jirachi, shenanigans, those things. Just kind of my gripes with the team that I wrote down. You do have some setup fodder in Mantine, Chansey. The Z move user, I know I watched your video on Sneasel. Sneasel's interesting. I think it does focus sash and choiced items a little bit better than a Z move would, and I think I would like to see Z Jirachi, maybe even Z Entei. That would have been kind of fun. Obviously Entei likes the choice band, but I would like to see one of those Z move users instead of Sneasel, because I just think Sneasel is a very good focus sash user. You definitely lack some speed on your wall breakers like Entei and Hydreigon as well. But yeah, that's really my only gripes with it. I think the team's going to do well because you have the Hitmonlee to gain some speed, but having to run Choice Scarf Hydreigon or even like a Scarf to Entei, you might run into some problems. So, Haz, what do you got for me?
Well, this team just reminds me a lot of my Season 1 team, so it was really hard for me to put this low. Mainly because Jirachi, Togekiss, Hydreigon is just it's such a good, amazing core.
It is.
But like you said, the main gripes for me with this is just the lack of speed. And even though Sneasel's the fastest one at 115, it's really, really frail. So I think it's really hard to rely on it to be your fastest mon. Also, my mind's gone blank. Oh yeah, I hate Chansey.
Oh yeah,
Chansey's bad. Chansey's bad.
How are you gonna gripe on Canada?
Pink blob.
Yeah,
I think Chansey plus Gligar is a bit. It's slightly a bit too passive for me. I think that can just be hugely exploited, and like what was said earlier, I'd probably say that Sneasel's not a great Z move user. I think Hydreigon would have probably been better just because it can hit so hard, and with Z moves, you can maybe run it physical as well. But there's a lot to like about this team. I definitely think that you can definitely make this work. But there are a few slight gripes I have with it.
Yeah, all right. I'll give a quick little thing about my team. But if you want to check out my draft analysis video, my channel will be in the description down below. Make sure. Yeah. Anyway.
Gotta plug that in.
So obviously the two biggest things that you guys were bringing up about my team were my speed tiers, which I definitely agree with. I think I could have picked up one more fast mon, and my Z user. I'm kind of experimenting with Sneasel a little bit. I've actually never used Z Jirachi, and I have a couple of friends who also do League format that actually have told me that Z Jirachi isn't as good as everyone thinks it is, because it's just Z moves aren't as powerful as you really want them to be, but fair. And I have used Z Hydreigon before. It's very good. I'm not trying to say it's a bad a Z captain. And I don't like Z Entei because I don't think it gets enough coverage for it to be the good and the good Z captain you really want it to be. Also, it just works well with Band or Scarf or anything else. Yeah.
I agree.
So I'm working with Sneasel here because my I actually watched someone 6-0 a draft, all 6 kills with Sneasel after an ICMZ on something. So,
Wow.
so I'm just seeing how this will turn out. So
No, I mean it's not
we'll see
about
how I do.
experiment. I mean you can't go wrong because it's a great Pokemon, so you can't
Yeah.
go wrong with just having fun with it. So
Also, I love Chansey.
Alright.
Screw you, Has. I love Chansey.
So moving on to the next squad, we have. Is it West? What is it?
Bromwich.
West Bromwich Altaria.
Bromwich Altaria. Oh, Bromwich. Okay. West Bromwich Altaria.
Mike.
So we have him coming in at what rank am I at? I don't
13.
We're 13. All right. So we're at 13. Oh yeah, I have it. We're good. So we're at 13 here. Has you or Gengar? You haven't started off yet. Do you want to go ahead and start us off?
Sure. So one of the biggest things that I had against this team for me was like he was second pick in the draft. Obviously, Nangado went first. Was Tyranitar really the optimal like second pick?
It was not.
No, it's not.
Just to help me out.
I really don't like Tyranitar too much in League format just because it's so weak to priority fighting moves. Like, it can be good. Like, it's not a bad Pokemon in any sense of the word, but, like... Anyway, I'm noticing that, like, hazard removal isn't really there. Like, you have Defog Zapdos, and if I'm not mistaken, you actually don't have anything else. Am I missing something?
Whimsicott gets Defog.
Well, Whimsicott gets Defog, yeah. All these new gens, Ultra Sun and Moon Defog tutors are getting to me, but, like, it's not, like, it's so frail. Like, that's not really what you want to be doing with, like, a Defogger. Also, I'm noticing, like, kind of a like, this, it's only minor, but, like, I'm noticing a slight ground weakness. Tyranitar, Blacephalon, Non-Levitate Bronzong, Nihilego, 4 times weak, and Volcanion, all weak to ground.
Yeah.
Like, you have pre-Mega Evolved Gyarados.
Hey, quit telling him stuff because I'm playing week 1.
Well, yeah, so...
Garchom's gonna have fun with his team.
Pre-Evolved Gyarados, Zapdos, Whimsicott, Levitate Bronzong, and that's it. In terms of ground resist. I'm not counting Shroomish.
And those aren't very...
I'm not counting Shroomish. It's not... No.
And those don't really do much when they switch in either. Like,
no.
It's not...
No. Yeah. I do like Ditto.
Yeah, Ditto's a problem. Trust me. I've been playing for a couple days, and Ditto's an issue.
Choice Scarf Ditto is never not going to be good.
No.
Did he ever announce what his Z captain's going to be?
Yeah, Zapdos.
Zapdos, okay. See, I like that. I was thinking either Blacephalon or Nihilego, but I think Zapdos is really good too. I like his cores. I like the Whimsicott, Druddigon, whatever Steel type is core, Bronzong, and I also really like the Gyarados. Well, not Shroomish, but Gyarados, Whimsicott, and Volcanion core. I think those are pretty good, but like, there's just like the removal is just subpar, and Tyranitar is not what you want to be second picking. So, go ahead, someone else.
Go, Des.
Me, okay. I will defend Tyranitar a bit because whilst I don't think it's like a second overall pick, I do think it's a pretty solid round 2 pick. And if he thought that was like essential to his team, I can see why he'd maybe just want to pick it just to be sure. But the thing is, this team just really confuses me. I'm not sure what like each Pokemon's role really is on this
like,
team.
what does this team want to be doing?
Yeah, yeah. Like, it's sort of just
I'll tell you guys
like
in a second. Don't worry, I'll tell you because I planned for it. But go on.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it just I'm just not sure why he picked the Mons that he picked. I mean, there are a lot of Mons which I like. I think Zapdos, in my opinion, is like the best electric type in draft formats.
Yeah,
personally.
I love Zapdos,
and I like some of these other picks. Mega Gyarados, as we all know, if you've been watching the DGBA since the start, you all know the threat that Mega Gyarados has been in previous seasons. And Volcanion, which destroyed me in Season 2, which JJ will happily tell you about.
Such a monster.
Yeah. And he does have Nihilego, which he used last season. He used it pretty well, and I know he's pretty comfortable with that kind of Pokemon. So there are some good Mons there, but I just don't see what they do collectively.
You want me to go now and tell you why this team's a problem? Alright, so I had this team the highest. I'll teach you. I will. I think I had this team the highest. Was it West Bromwich? Where did I have them at? I had this team at 7. That's true. So what
I'm
this
at
team?
15.
Yeah, I know both you guys did. So what this team wants to do is it wants to get in with that mon with the head off, and it wants to kill everything. That's what this team wants to do. I'm having a big problem playing for that Blasphalon. It's Blacephalon, whatever you want to call it. It's an issue. It like 2Ks my entire team. It 2Ks everybody's team because the only check it has is that Tyranitar or like a Heatran, obviously. But in a draft format, it can run HP Ground or whatever it needs to do. But having that Tyranitar and that Blacephalon back to back is just tough. And I like Tyranitar as his first pick just because I think Tyranitar sets you up in the draft for anything you want to do. If you want to go Sand, you can go Sand. T-Tar is just not a bad Pokemon just to have in general. But yeah, when I'm playing, like I said, I'm playing for this team over these last couple days. This team does have a lot of defensive weaknesses. Dark fighting, poison. If any mon has that coverage, it just kind of wrecks through his entire team.
And ground.
Goro.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not gonna say Darkrai isn't a problem, but it's a problem for the squad. So, but that Ditto, I think covers a little bit of the confusion on his team. But a lot of these mons are going to be filling a lot of roles that they're not used to, and I think I agree with you guys on that. He's going to have to bring some a lot of offensive Zapdos, but don't think this team's not going to win. I think this team's going to win a lot of games with Blacephalon softening their cores and then Mega Gyarados coming in and winning. I think that's kind of how it's going to have to go, in my opinion, just for this team to reach its full potential anyway. But I think he's going to do it pretty well just because this team's, that Blacephalon. Just wait till you prep for it. Do some calcs. You'll be surprised at what this mon can do. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and swing on to. I think we're at 12.
Yep.
The London Arsenal are here. You obviously had this team at 16. And you're hard on yourself, like you said. But I'm gonna have you go ahead and start running down the line with it. So go ahead.
All right, so this team, I have a complete love-hate relationship with this team. The thing which I love about this team is just the offensive potential that this team has. It has so many mons which can just punch holes into opponents' teams.
I'm gonna stop you real quick. I would like everyone to make sure that everyone's aware. This is Haz's team that he's describing. Continue.
Yeah. This is my team. Okay, so The wall breaking potential between Drampa and Pangoro is just really, really good because they have their coverage between them is like immaculate. I'm pretty sure between them they have like coverage for every single type, and obviously Pangoro is a physical wall breaker, whilst Drampa is a special wall breaker. So really, trying to beat my team through bulk is going to be quite difficult. And then plus you also have Infinite, Excadrill, Scolipede, Superior. The reason why I like this is because Infinite and Excadrill really struggle with water types. Superior destroys water types. Superior struggles against grass types, and Scolipede destroys grass types. But the reason why I have this last, other than the fact that it's my own team, is that I think compared to all the other teams, I think this team's going to be pretty. It's going to be the easiest to beat just by going hyper offense. Like, obviously I'm going to go pretty offensive with this team, but it's such a high risk, high reward team. If you know what I mean. I don't know. This team confuses me. I'm not sure what to think. I drafted this, and I have no words for this team.
You had like 4 days of drafting, and you're still confused? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's just...
hey, I got you. Just stop talking so you can kind of collect your thoughts. Gengar, hop on it.
All right, so... I actually had this team at 9th in my final rankings.
I do too.
What was your Z captain?
Scolipede.
Scolipede. Yeah, that was one of the things I actually didn't like about that. I think the Infernape would have been a little bit better. I like it a little more.
Completely.
All right, well, we'll get to that. I think Gliscor, after with their newly Gen 7 Usum tutors, it's really good now. Now he gets both Toxic Orb and Defog. I think I can actually kind of reliably say it's one of the best defoggers in the format now, with the exception of that ice weakness, and that's workaroundable. I think I like Mega Gardevoir on this team. It really just gives you that strong, like, special attacker, like a reliable special attacker that this team could use. Like, there's Superior, there's Infernape, but Infernape could go both ways, and overall, like, I just like Mega Gardevoir at this team. I don't like Diancie on this team. I don't actually understand what the point of it is, other than giving you a rock type. But, yeah, other than that...
I got you, Haz. I'll bring in your defenses here in a second. I got you.
Alright, yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
That's
you want me to go now? Alright, so...
Yeah, that's all for me.
Okay, so I hate this team and I love this team at the same time. Infernape is my favorite Pokemon in any draft format, just period. I was helping Jake last year, playing for a lot of games, and Infernape was the star every single week of every build that I ever made for him. Like, that we would talk about, it was all centered around Infernape. It can do so much, and that's why I don't like it being a Z captain, because it can run so many different items and use its move pool better with those items, I think, than I mean, it's obviously to be a good Zmon, like a great Zmon, just because it can do so many different things. But it can be special, choice scarf, banded, focus sash, lead. It can set up rocks for you. It just can literally do anything, any priority you want. Like, it gets vacuum wave, doesn't it? I'm pretty sure. Yep. It can be nasty plot vacuum wave. Like, it is a disgusting mon. You can bring it any time. But what I love about this team, especially with the Scolipede Z, is with Scolipede having Z move, it doesn't need to always go for Swords Dance. It can break through some walls without Swords Dance. Even with Swords Dance, now it can break through even walls like it can't hit for super effective, or even more than like neutral. But I think this team has a great combination of, like, with the first 5 mons. I think the first 5-6 mons, it can be hyper offense, like with Excadrill, Scolipede, Serp, and like Infernape. It can be hyper speed offense. It can be fast. It can play quick. It can U-turn around, do a lot of things. But then, like, on the back end of the draft with Diancie and my boy Jelly Belly, my boy Pringles. Hold on a second. Let me look something up real quick for you, because it does get Trick Room, correct? So so Diancie gets Trick Room, Jellicent gets Trick Room. You have a Pangoro and a Drampa there. You have Gardevoir, Mega Gardevoir, who you can just minus the poop out of its speed, and just run, hyper modest in the Trick Room, or even it can be decent outside of Trick Room. So I think this team can go a little bit of Trick Room on you, trick you up a little bit. You're playing it for hyper offense. You're bringing a lot of walls, a lot of big cores, and it can just pop a Trick Room on you, and you're done. And Drampa in a Trick Room, Pangoro in a Trick Room, like a banded Pangoro in a Trick Room, adamant. Not a lot to live in that. So, and it can parting shot around. I like this draft. I don't love it, but because I think it can be beat with momentum. But otherwise, I think it's a great draft.
Just to say, I drafted Diancie because my team otherwise would have been really weak to flying types. And even though Electros is sort of a switch-in, it would have been other. I don't really want to just rely on Electros because
that's the only mon I hate on your team.
Yeah.
By the way, I can't stand Electros.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit iffy on Electros. The reason I picked it is just because I sort of felt like slow momentum would have been good on this team.
Every match I see it come to, it like switches in, takes 40%, and then it deals like 30%, and then it comes back in, takes 40%, deals 30%.
That's sort of the point though, because then that means my offensive ones don't take damage.
Are taking 60%, yeah.
Yeah, it gives you a couple. It gives you a couple.
Its point is literally just to take hits and then switch out.
All right,
that's literally its purpose.
We're gonna keep your mind sane, and we're gonna go ahead and move on. I think we're down to 11 now. I think we're down to
Golden State War Turtles.
All right. This is on me. Yay. This squad is on me, real quick. So I had this team at 16. Haz, you had him at 6. Gengar, you had him at 11. Yes. Why this team is at 16? Are you guys ready?
All right, go.
Do you see that Pokemon that they drafted for $10? What's his name?
Decidueye?
I cannot stand that Pokemon. I think it's terrible. It's complete
trash.
Decidueye
is not it's good.
Every time I see it brought, it does squadoosh, and then it just dies, and I cannot stand it.
No,
I hate it. I hate it so much. I think it's useless. I'd rather have Chimecho. I would have spent $10 on Chimecho.
Chimecho is terrible.
Do you know that if we would have played last season, if you saw my Decidueye sets,
hey.
Oh, it was he. It was he.
Decidueye would have died to my Leavanny. But anyway.
Decidueye is not a reason to put your team at 16.
Oh, that's my reason. No, so I like this team. My real reason, I think it's only 7 to 8 mons deep. I think Girder, Rotom, Frost, Chimecho, and Decidueye are. I'm not saying they're useless. They have their techs, but I think this team every week you can pretty much plan for him to bring, the first 7, the first 8 mons every single time, and they're kind of predictable. They're not really too predictable. I mean, obviously Laddie, Celesteal, they can do a lot of different things, but I just don't think he's deep. I don't think he's deep at all. So for this team, I will plan for the first 7. And then if he brings Decidueye, Girder, Rotom, Frost, Chimecho, I don't care. Okay, I'll play around him in the game. You know what I'm saying? I won't even care. That's kind of my go at this team. And also I think they're only offensively about 5 Pokemon deep. So you have Lando, you have Lottie, you have Mega Deontay, you have Volk. And then what else do you got? I mean, is Celesteal going to be offense? I mean, most of the time it's defense. I know it can do some offensive things, but I just don't see this team's offense in combination with it. It's got great defense, obviously. Suicune and Miltank. I love Miltank. Miltank's a great pick in any draft. It's a wonderful kind of for $8 it's a steal. But I just don't see this team bringing a lot of offense, and I think it's just super thin. I just don't think it's deep at all. That's just my opinion. I think he should take that $10. He should drop Decidueye, and he should drop Decidueye and Rotom Frost and then upgrade 2 different mods. That's my opinion. But go on. Whoever wants to tell me they're better. Who is it? Haz? You had him at 6? All right, Haz, what do you got?
All right. I think those are fairly good criticisms. If we were to judge,
those criticisms were super effective.
If we were to judge every team based on their first 6 picks, this team would be number 1.
Easy.
By a
country
mile.
I completely agree with you, sir.
Mega Deontay just benefits so much from those first 3 picks. It's pretty much it's covered really, really well with Landorus and Celesteela.
Fair point.
I think the Latias Celesteela call is going to be pretty hard to beat. And then plus he has it's going to be really hard to prep for Landorus, especially now it's got Defog, which just makes it a really, really, really good diverse Pokemon. And personally, I think Landorus is probably one of, if not the best, Z-move users in the format.
It's definitely, I think it's probably the best in my opinion.
Yeah, and then there's Volcarona and Suicune are really, really. I absolutely hate prepping for both of those mons.
I agree
because of those setup mons.
I'll tell you how to prep for them. Stealth Rocks.
True.
I mean, and then I'm being very unfair to the team. I just hate the last 5 mons, 4 mons, whatever it is.
That's why the thing I think is that his last 4 or 5 mons, they aren't particularly great mons, but I think they cover up a lot of the weaknesses that his first few picks have. So in Chimecho and Decidueye, he has decent enough removal. Chimecho gives him a wish passing, which he really, really needed for stuff. Okay, for
one
point.
Write down
one point.
Write down that sentence you just said, and read it back to yourself, and tell me if you believe it. Chimecho gives him a decent wish passer.
Okay, no, it gives him a wish passer.
That's fair.
A wish passer. Sorry. A wish. I mean, decent for 1 point.
All right, hold on. Let me educate you.
I just realized he had 2 spare points, so yeah, he probably should have got a better wish pass with that.
Let me educate you real quick. Can I educate you real quick?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
This man can have if he drops Decidueye and Chimecho, he can have Durant and a Golbat.
Durant? Wait, excuse me. Did you say Durant is better than Decidueye?
Yes, Durant's better than Decidueye.
No, it's not.
Durant 1v1 Decidueye every time.
Durant is terrible.
But he's better than Decidueye.
Trash.
I'd rather have a Alolan Golem.
That's also trash.
Alolan Golem can do some stuff.
I'm just saying there's a lot. I think he can build his team better if he just drops Decidueye and drops Chimecho, then averages those 2 points together, and then he can have more mons that he can bring every single week.
Also, I'd say Girder is somewhat useful. Because,
no, I don't like Girder as much. Girder is
because otherwise his team would have been really, really weak to Toxic Spikes.
That's fair. All right, Gengar, do you want to say anything else before?
I think it's in priority.
Yeah, you guys covered a lot about what I said, or what I mostly said. It's a great team defensively, Celesteela, Suicune, Miltank. But don't undermine Suicune's offensive capabilities.
Oh, that's fair. I'm just
Of
saying
course.
most of the time it's defensive Calm Minds.
I'm currently in 2 leagues. This league and the WCL. In WCL, a man by the name of MLG Poplio is currently 3-0, and he's 3-0'd his last game, but he's 6-0'd his other 2 games.
And what do you do?
Just by bringing, he brought substitute Calm Mind Suicune.
Okay, so you know what that tells me?
What?
Those two coaches that lost need to learn how to prep. Because you can't let yourself, because sub Calm Mind's a thing. Like,
yeah,
it's like Suicune wants to come in and it wants to sit behind subs or rest, and it wants to Calm Mind up. Like, that's what it wants to do.
Poplio is very skilled with Suicune. He knows exactly.
That's fair. Yeah, dude. Trust me. I've seen Suicune just. It's never gonna be bad.
Yeah, but other than that, you guys basically covered most of what I said.
All
He has
right,
good. It's got good removal support, Volcarona.
We'll move on then.
Yeah.
So, next
Number
up,
10.
I think we're at number. Yeah, you need to keep reminding me. I like that because it gets me organized. I had my pieces of paper are getting like shoveled.
I have my phone.
All right. Oh, that's even. I should have. Yeah. Why am I using paper? It's 2017. Anyway, we have the Miami Rotom Heat coming in at number 10. Gengar, you have him super low. 14. Me and Has had him at 7. I have him at 8. You had him at 14, so go ahead and lead us off.
Alright, so the first thing I don't like about this team is Z Cortana.
Okay.
I definitely think there just could have been like anything else he could have used. I never like Z Cortana. It's got 4. It's got Steel, Grass, Fighting, and Dark. Like, what other Z moves are you going to use?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I honestly would have preferred even even though Komodo MZ is obviously banned because it's broken, I would have preferred either like Komodo or Weavile, maybe even like Nidoking. Just I don't like Z Cortana, and that actually brought it down a lot for me. Another thing is like it's only slight, but his offense seems to be just kind of more favored towards special because he's got Komodo, he's got Primarina, he's got actually, I'm gonna take that point back. He's actually looking at his team again. His offense is actually super balanced.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you this, but his first 5 mons are all physical. I mean, I know Komodo can be both, but his first 5 are all physical.
Yeah.
So can I.
I'm really curious as to what Stakataka is gonna do. I really hope I get to see a Trick Room Stakataka at some point.
All right. Well, let me tell you why I think this team is gonna be very just hard to prep for, and that is the man of Stakataka. Like, this team's all offense, right? I mean, tell me a defensive mind on his team. I'll wait.
Stakataka.
Okay, that's not okay. Are you really gonna?
You said any defensive mind.
But are you really gonna bring Stakataka for defense? That's not gonna be a thing.
Yeah, you're not Trick Room on Uxie.
Yeah, so this team is just super offense. So I mean, you're gonna have to prep for 6 months who are just gonna come and every turn they're gonna be trying to punch you in the face. Like that's exactly what this team's gonna do. Premier is a great special attacker. Arcanine obviously can be a little defensive, but it's just a good all-around attacker. Nidoking, Kartana, well, I love the anchor. Delmise is one of my favorite draft league style Pokemon that there is. Delmise is wonderful.
I can back that.
I think I love its flexibility. It can come and do anything for you. But my only problem with this team and why I have them decently low. Where did I have them? 8? Decently. I mean, 8's decently low in this draft because every team's really good. Is this team might struggle with momentum, so because there's nothing he can like kind of do if a team is U-turning around or just has momentum on him from turn 1, volt switching around, things like that. If somebody brings momentum, I think he's gonna struggle because he has nothing that can just tank hits really. I mean, some mons I can live 1 like Delmise, they can might be able to live 1 super effective hit, but he's gonna have to be on the offensive. But he's gonna win a lot of games because he's going to be on the offensive, and he has so much power offensively. So, Has, what do you got for me?
I'm sort of going to defend Z Cortana here for a second because I was sort of the one who suggested that he picked Z Cortana. So I feel like it's my obligation to sort of defend it. I think Cortana with a Z move is really, really threatening. It's because of Beast Boost. I think any sort of UB is a decent Z move user, except maybe probably Guzzlord. Guzzlord isn't a good one.
Okay.
But because if they try to switch into a counter and then you go for your Z move and then you get that +1 attack, Kartana immediately becomes very, very hard to wall because you plan for it and you plan a counter, but you don't really plan a counter for when it starts racking up those attack boosts, and then it can pretty much sweep through teams through that. Like its coverage is limited, but I think it has like the necessary tools in order for it to be an effective Z move user, especially now that it has knockoff.
I'd like to say one quick thing before JJ goes on this spiel. One thing about Kartana is it really only has 1 or 2 checks. The main check that Kartana has, and Zero mentioned this in his video, is Arcanine. Now, I don't know if anyone can notice this, but Undersea Warrior drafted Arcanine. So, yeah, there's not a lot of switch-ins Kartana can really deal with. Maybe Mayente. But, like...
Completely agree. So, we're going to have to move on to the next squad. And we have the AFCA Jaxorus. I'm going to say it again. The A Jaxorus. Yup. It's going to be that the whole season. I hope you don't like it. It is what it is. Alright, so Gengar, you have him the highest.
Yeah.
What do you have him at, sir?
I'm at 6.
Yeah, I'm at 12 and has it 10. So go ahead and give me your reasons.
I love this team. I really like this team a lot. I think Victini is such a great Z captain. I think it's one of the best Z captains in Draft League format. It has such great coverage. It's fast. That's base 100, but it has a lot of good coverage. It's kind of unpredictable. What are you going to do with it? I like Goodra on Tapu Fini. I like that kind of mini core, especially with Scissor. I like his Firewater Grass core, Tapu Fini, Amoonguss, and Victini. And I just like all of his mons except for 2 of them. And it's just he has defense, he has offense, and the one gripe I have with this team is Kangaskhan and Electabuzz. I don't like them as much. I don't like Kangaskhan at all. I don't really, other than maybe an okay Wish user, I don't like it. And then Electabuzz, I don't see any use for, other than the fact that it has an electric typing, which isn't even that good. Like, you have to run Eviolite on it. But like Drifblim, I like Drifblim. I think Drifblim is great. I think the substitute Citrus Berry Unburdened set can get some kills, and it's a good utility with like Will-O-Wisp or like Toxic or other stuff. I love Hippowdon. I think other than like Landers, it's the best ground type in the format because that sand at such its highest def makes it a great special wall. But yeah, I'm just ranting about how good it is. Someone else want to tell me how?
I'll hop in. We're probably gonna skip over you on this one. Has just in interest of quicking up the video a little bit.
Sure.
But what I wrote down, my 3 things, and you touched on it a little bit, are the low tier struggles. Drifblim, Kangaskhan, Electabuzz. I think he could have kind of came out a little bit better there with his points. Even if he just like stepped up to one mon at like $10 or $9 and then kind of used $1 mons. But I don't see too much use for them. I agree with you there. I think he's very predictable on offense. His offense Mega Absol. Reuniclus can be, offense, Scizor. But what the first thing I wrote down for this team is the savior Victini, and that is kind of it. Like, if he uses Victini well, then he will be fine. I think this team will be okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
But he better use Victini very well.
Can I just hop in for 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead. No, make a point.
Yeah. So I've been in a few leagues with MX3, and in except one season, the one common thing that they've had in all their teams, and that they've been successful with, is that they've drafted Victini. So I can assure you that Victini is a Pokemon that they're very, very comfortable with, and that's what I think makes this team just even more scary, because there's a lot of mons which I know that they're very comfortable with using.
Right.
But my biggest issue with this thing is that I think it needs a bit more speed. Mega Absol is its fastest mon, but it's a Mega, so that means you can't really run a Choice Scarf on it. So that means you can basically have a Scarf which outspeeds like all of his mons which don't have a Scarf.
Agree completely. So we're gonna move on to the next one after the AFC ejection. So we have the FK. How do you say it, Hannes? You wanna go?
FK Mold Breakers.
Oh, it's just mold. It's not mold.
Yeah, mold.
Then why is there an E?
It's
So based on like a football team, right?
Yeah. It's
it's
Norwegian. It's Norwegian.
you guys in your football. I'm watching football right now, but it's
You
football.
can skip over me on this one. I don't have a lot for this team.
All right, no problem. So, FK, I had him at 10. Has, you had him at 9. And Gengar, you had him at 10 as well. I can go ahead and start us off. That's fine.
Sure.
I think he has very predictable offense. I think it's a good team, obviously. I mean, you can't go wrong with Mew, Coco, Megalotti. Like, you know, it is like Shandy. I mean, it's good offense. Like, but I think it's very predictable. Obviously, they can hit on different sides of the spectrum. They can be both physical. Like, Megalotti can be physical special. Coco can be physical special. But you kind of know what covers they're bringing every week, if that makes any sense. Hawlucha, too, is kind of in that same boat. The only one I'm scared about, kind of, is that Porygon. You know, Porygon can kind of be a hidden gem on this team. But I think he has predictable defense as well. You know, with Umbreon, Gastrodon, Cradily, Steelix, they kind of don't do different things than what they do. They do them well, but I think this team's a little predictable. When you're going to be prepping for it, you're kind of going to know if it's either going to be defensive or offensive Mew, like a Nasty Plot, Swords Dance set. But yeah, I think this team's great. It's solid. It's just a little predictable. So, Haz, what do you got?
I'll be talking about this team before they made the trades or after the trades.
Before. So what trades?
So
okay,
they didn't have
talk about-
Steelix before.
And then in a Megalotti.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
shoot. This is after then.
Yeah.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
did it from the current set.
Okay,
So,
yeah, because I was going to talk
You know,
about...
actually, you know what's funny? So I didn't even know he had Megalotti until like I made the thing. Like I looked at it before, I ranked him before that, and then I saw Megalotti out there. I'm like, wait, when did he get Megalotti? So no, so go ahead and talk about it after. That's fine.
Okay, we'll talk about it after. So
Yeah.
I was going to say before that I feel like the big gripe with this team is that I felt like Mew was going to be forced to really be defensive like every single week.
Right.
Because its only real defensive wall is Umbreon, which is like mostly seen as a special wall in of itself. But I think with Steelix that burden's come off a bit less of it.
Yeah.
But I think his new problem is that he doesn't really have like his default comes from his offensive one. So his defaulters are now Coco, Megalotti, and Hawlucha, I believe.
Which you never really want to run.
Yeah, you don't really want to run defog when anything.
Well, obviously Mew can defog.
Yeah, but then you're like squandering Mew's potential.
Exactly.
I mean, Mew is best in the defensive side. I will agree with that, but then I feel like in order to get the most value out of Mew, you sort of want to build around it and make it the focal point of the team.
Well, yeah, you don't want your opponent thinking like, hey, it has to be defensive. You want to come in saying it could be SD, it could be Nasty Plot, it could be anything you want it to be.
Yeah, and I'm not quite convinced that he's taking that sort of approach when
I agree.
building his team. So, but overall, I think it's decently balanced overall.
No, I agree. I think it's right where we have it ranked, and I think we all kind of said that where we had 10, 10, and 9. I think right where we have it is a good spot to kind of have it. I think it's a solid. Where do we have him? 8. I think it's a good spot to have him. So next up at number 7, we have the SL Benfinians. This team is, it's scary. to say the least.
Certainly good.
I think I had him at 11. Has you had him at 12, and Gengar, you had him at 7. So Gengar, if you want to lead us off since you had him so high, go ahead.
Yeah, let me find my notes, please. Wait.
Jeez, you should have this ready. Like,
sorry. Anyway, all right. So, obviously, Z Kieran Black is something that needs to be talked about. It's one of the, it's just so strong. It's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's something that like even like just like the most bulky mods are not going to be a fan of just like taking an ICM Z free shock. Like, it's like something that everyone knows it's good. So I think I could just keep going over it. Mega Lopunny again, great physical attacker. I think with the wheel, Mega Lopunny and Kieran Black are. It's pretty good for a wheel.
Can't argue about that wheel. That's a big wheel.
End of draft wheel pick, yeah.
That's a very big wheel and like a very big. That's like a tractor wheel. It's a big wheel.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think his bulk's also there. The core I'm calling Vaporeon 2. aka Vaporeon and Porygon 2. Extremely bulky, very good. Also with like Donphan and Klefki kind of both providing that bulk that like this soup like with those two hyper offensive threats and Lopunny and Kyurem could really back up with. Galvantula again, like was never going to be a bad sticky webs user. I don't like Talonflame, even like the nerf just killed it so much. The Gale Wings nerf, I don't like it really anymore. I think it's a little overpriced at what it's at, especially because it's 4 times weak to rocks.
Agreed.
Like, he is good removal, but I'm never gonna draft Talonflame. I'm surprised at how late he got Hoopa U. Like,
I think people were just scared. I don't think they really wanted to draft her for where it was at. So
yeah.
For 19.
Also Chadot.
Don't sleep on the Chadot.
Chadot's good. I'm just
Don't
saying,
sleep on it.
great.
The chatter.
Choice specs, chatter, or boom burst,
It's
man.
annoying.
Yeah.
It can be really, yeah. His cores are great. His speed's fine.
All right, can I go into my gripes real quick? Because I think I had the lowest.
Go for it.
All right, so Haz, we're probably gonna might skip you here again, unless you come up with like a point I don't touch on.
All right, sure. I do have a big gripe with this team.
Okay, well if I don't touch on it, hop on in. What I wrote down for this team, it's kind of slow, just a little slow. Just with Hoopa Unbound and Kieran being kind of your wall breakers. I mean, I'm ignoring Mega Lopunny for a second, because you can kind of plan. I wouldn't say necessarily plan around Mega Lopunny with protects, but you kind of can just a little bit. But I think it's gonna be reliant on Galvantula setting up sticky webs. Obviously, I know Galvantula has a lot of speed, but it doesn't hit too hard. So I think it's gonna be reliant on sticky webs, and like I said, protect can kind of shut this team down a little bit. But I think this team will struggle the most with a team that has a lot of speed, and it can set up rocks, and then it can start just kind of switching around momentum-wise. I know the walls in Porygon 2 and Vaporeon and Donphan can kind of soak up a lot of hits, so momentum isn't too bad. But if this team is using momentum, and you kind of got to switch around those walls a lot, and they kind of get worn down with rocks, spikes, things like that. I know he has a lot of good removal, so like I said, I'm poking small holes in this team. But if they can switch around to a lot of super effective hits, Donphan, Porygon 2, and Vaporeon are kind of can wear down a little quicker than I think I'd like. I don't think they're the best defensive mons, but it's definitely a great core, especially with the keys. But it's a good team. But did I not touch on it, Haz? You can go ahead.
My problem with his team is that if you beat one Pokemon, his team becomes a lot easier to beat, and that Pokemon is Donphan. Because he only has one Rock Setter, which is Donphan. He only has one Spinner, which is Donphan. And Spin is really good for his team because he really relies on those webs in order to sweep with things like Hoopa U and Kieran Black. And then his one of his faster mons, such as Talonflame, really doesn't like rocks. And I think I think he should have pretty much drafted another Stealth Rocker, because Donphan is really pressured, and the problem with Donphan is it doesn't get reliable recovery, so that puts pressure on Vaporeon to constantly Wish Pass into it, and obviously they share a common weakness in Grass. So I feel like Donphan has too many roles which he needs to fill in this team.
I agree. I think if he loses one mon, like you said, so if you make a prediction that he's gonna bring in Donphan and he loses his Donphan, or he brings in Vaporeon and he loses Vaporeon, this team has a lot of holes.
Yeah.
I agree completely. So, Gengar, you got any defenses for that, or are you done?
No, that's all for me.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next squad on the list at number 6. That would be the Pittsburgh Celesteelas in non-zero. I want to lead this off because I don't know if you guys know this, but me and Zero have a beef.
What's this beef about?
He's better than me.
Yeah.
I can't beat the guy.
He's only the best player in the league.
I agree completely. He's awesome, and he's really good. Anyway, and you guys would laugh because so my graphics, I have all the sprites lined up, and I didn't put Darmanitan in. I put Zen mode Darmanitan in, so it just looks really awkward. But anyway, so this team is disgusting. When you have Blissey, Skarmory, and Mega Venusaur, I think I actually had this team ranked the highest out of all of you. I had them at 4, one spot above me. But if you give Zero a team like this, with a Azumarill and Diggersby, first of all, I don't know if you guys have seen him use Diggersby before, but he swept me with it because it's Diggersby, and you can't give this guy a team like this with the flexibility he has, with the defensive cores that he has, with the offense that he has, with Thundy, Lottie, Azu, and Diggersby, and expect him not to win 6 to 7 games this year. I don't care if he's in the Death Division where, there's just all good teams. He's going to beat a team because of Illumise. That's a promise. Like, he's that good of a battler. You can't give him this much flexibility without him winning a lot of games. So, I mean, I don't have much to say about it other than, oops, like, we should have not let him do this. But it is where he was at. He got what he got. So, if anyone else wants to jump in, go ahead.
I'm taking this. I had to play in week 1.
Oh, I feel
all
bad
right.
for you.
Sorry, Haz. So
Haz, you get
anyway,
some dust.
Mega Venusaur, Skarmory, and Blissey. That defensive core is crazy, and is going to be definitely going to be tearing, like, not tearing holes, but like preventing hole tearing throughout the entire league. Thunderous Incarnate is a good Z user. I mean, I didn't really see any other options on his team. Maybe Azumarill, maybe Diggersby, but I do like Thunderous Incarnate as his pick. He has great cores. He's probably the best stacker and defogger in the form of Skarmory. I like his bulk. I like his offense. I just like everything about his team.
I want to stop you though, Gengar. Just 1 second. He's gotten Skarmory in every single season, hasn't he?
Except last season.
Okay, but he had him like the first
season
2
1
seasons,
and
I can just attest he's disgusting with Skarmory.
That's good.
Yeah.
He doesn't use it poorly ever.
he almost swept me with an SD set, I believe. So
go on, Gengar. Sorry for interrupting.
The one thing I could say I don't really like about this team, though, is just like Hitmonchan and Dusclops. Both are 2 mons I'm not really big fans of.
Fair.
I think Hitmonchan's just too frail and doesn't actually do enough offensively.
I think Zero would agree with you, too.
And Dusclops, I think, even with the Violet, I still don't think it's bulky enough to be considered like a wall. It just happens to be like a defensive mon, and those will-o-wisp.
Alright, so we'll move on to the next one then. Like I said, in interest, we're almost up to an hour now. So
you know what? That's fine.
No, I don't mind. I just have I have a girlfriend waiting to go to PetSmart, and she keeps letting the dog in, and it keeps bothering me. But so we have the Los Angeles Larvatars next. I think I had them at 2. Gengar, you had them at 3, and Haz, you had them at 8. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Haz finally get some words in here. Go ahead and start on the Los Angeles Larvatars.
Okay, so at first I had this team a lot higher, but there's like one problem with this team which which sort of put it down quite a bit, and it's sort of I guess it's sort of a nitpick, but considering the last 2 seasons I've had this I've faced this problem with both of my teams from the previous seasons, and that is this team gets destroyed by Trick Room. His slowest mon is Empoleon at 60, and I just don't see how well he deals with Trick Room. But other than that, I mean, Cresselia Mandibuzz is a really, really, really scary defensive core. Although it is really passive, but his offensive mons in Zardex and Mamoswine especially having to prep from non-Zero's team last season. That's really, really, really that was a nightmare to prep for. Oh, and the Gengar as well.
Yeah,
he must have really liked non-Zero's team last season.
Speaking of Gengar, what do you got?
I could.
Alolan Persian Z is amazing.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, I can definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with. I can definitely agree with what Has said with like being definitely pretty bad against Trick Room. That's actually one of my biggest notes. I said I like his removal. Like, I mean, it's not a lot, but like Defog Mandibuzz and Rapid Spin at Montop, like those are both, and Defog and Polion. Z Persian looks incredibly interesting. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do with that. And of course, Cresselia and Mandibuzz. I still hate playing against Cresselia. It's such a difficult to prep for. Like, even when you bring a bunch of Dark type moves, it still just walls you out. So it has basically put a lot of the words in my mouth, but yeah.
All right, we'll move on then to the because I don't have much to say about it. I mean, I think it's very balanced. I love Empoleon, Roserade, Mandibuzz, Cress. Like, I just love those 4 defensively in general. I think it's a very well built team. But Trick Room, like I think you guys said, is the only kind of main issue, and that's a very small hole to poke in a team. And I think that it goes without saying that from like 9 down, like they're all just stupid good teams, and we're poking very small holes in all of them. So next up we have the Peoria Pidgeots. So I don't know who that's. Obviously I'm the coach of the Peoria Pidgeots, and you guys can go ahead and start. Gengar, you want to start on this team?
Obviously, Mega Mawile is one of the most terrifying Pokemon in League format. There's a reason why it's worth 20 points. The only other Mon of that value, I believe, is Magearna. That counts as a Mega. So there's a good reason. It's just so good. You have a lot of fantastic value Mons, like Silvally, Alola, Garchomp, Thundurus, Darkrai. Like your first 6 picks, or 7 really, are just super, really good. Your cores are fine. Yeah, that's just a lot of good stuff. So a couple of things I want to say on the more negative side. I don't like your last 2 picks, Torterra and Regigigas. You're never gonna bring. Like maybe Torterra if you need like an extra rocker, but you're never gonna bring.
Hey, don't sleep on Assault Vest Regigigas.
No, it's bad.
All right, whenever I play you, I'm bringing it. Just saying.
I'm gonna play you.
Oh well, in the championship, I'll bring it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, even like your Typhlosion and your Gyarados can be very good, like Scarf Typhlosion and like I don't know, something with Gyarados. Yeah, I'm not a fan of like the Z Gyarados because you picked Gyarados as your Z captain, correct?
I haven't chosen a Z captain yet.
Oh.
Could
you maybe speculate on what you're considering on making your Z captain? DGBA exclusive.
Yeah.
How about you guys keep going, and I'll tell you, and then I'll make an announcement at the end.
I have some. Yeah, I have some. If I were you, I'd go with either Garchomp, Thundurus, or maybe Darkrai. I don't pick Gyarados, please, but I just like them a lot as you captains. They can just be deadly. One other thing I noticed is like, other than like Alola, you don't actually have too much like bulk.
0 bulk. Yes.
Yeah, you have like Necrozma. And I maybe Mega Mawile.
Gengar, one question: have you seen me play?
No.
Okay.
I am a rookie to the DGBA.
All right, you'll learn why I have 0 bulk. But go on.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's Other than that, I really like this team. I love all the early offensive picks and even the later not Regigigas defensive picks. But yeah, Has, take it away.
I mean, I don't really have too much to say. Basically, every season I always have a problem with JJ's team. There's like lots of things which I like about it, and then there's just one massive glaring hole with all of his teams. And this season, I'm really struggling to find one, other than maybe his defensive core.
I know, I finally did a decent job at drafting.
Yeah, but knowing him, I mean, is there even any point of drafting defense?
No, there isn't.
No, exactly. No. I actually do really like his last few picks. I think even though they aren't going to come every week, when you do bring them, I think it's going to really catch your opponents by surprise, and you can really take advantage of that, because most teams are going to really prep for those first few mons, which makes those last few mons even more threatening. But yeah, the offense in this is just ridiculous.
All right, Gengar, let me tell you how I play real quick before I announce my Z captain.
All right, go.
U-turn, Volt Switch, Parting Shot, and I attack everything.
So you're the momentum.
I don't care about defense. If I play my game and you don't get me out of my game, I win. That's just a fact. Like I love to play fast. I mean, I brought a little defense to my first season because I had somebody, I don't know how this happened, but they let me draft Manaphy, Heatran, Landorus.
That was...
and Lando. They let me draft all 4 of those guys. So I don't know how that happened, but like so I brought a little defense like Mega Venusaur, things like that, and I will bring defense Alomomola and Necrozma, but expect them to be in for 1 turn at max, just throwing up a wish and getting out of there. But I just look for holes on your team, and I will try to punch through it, and I will try to put you on your heels 24/7. That's literally the only way I know how to play, because so just a little backstory. You might hear this in interview with Parksy here soon, just because I've seen the style of questions he goes through. But so I came in on Gen 5, like competitive. So I came in where it was rain and sand. That's the only thing you could do in OU to even be pertinent in the metagame. So I hated rain because rain's boring. So I ran sand, and the only way to beat rain with sand in those gens, because rain was just so powerful, was to basically sand rush and win and attack fast and predict and switch around the rain to beat it. So that's literally how I was taught how to play, is to make bold predictions, attack in front of you when you can attack in front of you, and then just play fast. And that's literally the only way I know how to play. And this team, finally, I'm excited. This team is like the epitome of get around the walls and just attack hard and fast. And I cannot wait to use it. I'm super excited.
All right, I believe we're still a little over time.
I don't
We're
care.
almost like
I
an
don't
hour and
care.
a half.
I wanted
so,
to talk about it. So
let's move on to our third.
All right, are you announcing for me? This is my job, sir.
Yes.
Oh.
So 3 is the Phoenix Sun Flora Has. Start us off.
I don't really have that much to say about this team. But basically, the regen core is just amazing, and I feel like that plus the wall breaking power Mega Medicham is really just going to shine. I think this team really complements the Mega Medicham completely because it has really good pivots, and then you can it has really good momentum, which you can bring Mega Medicham in and just poke holes in through his teams. He has really good wall breakers as well, not just in Mega Medicham, but in things like Nidoqueen and Metagross. I really liked using Metagross last season. I think that Pokemon is really slept on in League format.
I agree.
And then you have he has really good utility mons and stuff like Rabombi and Clefable, which was the I think it had the most kills last season, I believe. I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, do you know who Clef had as a user?
Yeah.
Yeah, 0. That jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't give him Clef anymore.
But
Nobody can let him draft Clef.
If he can use it half as well, I think this thing could go really far.
Dude, this team is disgusting.
Yeah, it's so hard to break down, and they can just punch so many walls. I find it really hard to just find a weakness really in this team. Like maybe, I mean, I'm not really a fan of Raikou, but that's really it.
Raiku's like my favorite electric attacker.
I think for like 13 points, you could basically get like a 4-point mon, something like a Zeb Striker or a Raichu. We can just do a similar job. It's just a bit more frail, and then you can just invest those points elsewhere.
I agree. I think he could what he could do is if he drops Raikou and drops Passimian, he can get a better fighting type, and then just downgrade a little bit on his electric side, and then his team would be even better.
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah. I completely agree.
Gengar, what do you got?
All right, so story time. I originally had this team at 16th before I moved it up to 3rd.
My God! Wait, how even possible?
Yeah, so I originally didn't like how defensive this team was, with the exception of like Medicham. Clefable Clefable, Toxapex, like Nidoqueen, maybe even Metagross, Tangrowth. Like until I realized that both Tornadus T and Tangrowth got Regenerator along with Toxapex, I realized how great that core was. Like kind of like what Has said, how much he complimented the Mega Medicham's wall breaking quality, and like it's just I've realized how good this team is originally from my beginning of my analysis. But
if he can use Medicham well, this team will go far.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty simple.
I think that's the star of his team.
I agree. So moving on to number 2, we have Coach Oak and the Icky Town in Cineroar. So I can kind of talk about this team because I'm mad at him for taking my favorite design Pokemon ever. How do you even say it? Zeraora. It's just Zeraora. See, I tried so hard. I had like 6 extra A's. But yeah, I love this. I love this team because he has the Bulu-Tran core again. I know he used it a little bit last season. He didn't use it as well as he probably can. I think he probably learned a lot from last season. But he also grabbed the Mega Sableye. So defensively, this team is just it's defensively it's perfect as far as those 3 go. I would expect those 3 to come every week, and it's going to be tough to plan for them. And then you have to plan around him 4 Sticky Webs. I think the best Sticky Web user in Araquanid. Crobat, who's just a wonderful defogger, and then he has a 2 magic bouncers. Like good luck getting any sort of anything up on him, because you're never gonna know when they come in.
Breaker.
Yeah, you're gonna get, like I think you kind of said that with like who was it? Excadrill and Dronigan. Yeah, were the only 2. Yeah. So and then he has the speed and the power of Oh man, I'm so mad. He still was Aurora. I can't believe he took it. I'm so mad. I can't believe because I think it's gonna be a monster. And that's a Z move user, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be absolutely a stud with Z moves because he has that fighting type coverage and he has just super strong electric type moves. It can do literally anything. And then Mienshao, I think Mienshao is a very underrated fighting type just with the speed tier and with having Regenerator. You can run Life Orb and be just fine, or any choice item. And who knows what he's going to do with Smeargle. So, Anybody else?
Yeah, there isn't a bad pick on this team.
No.
There isn't. Even with Aurora, you could set up Aurora Veil, and that provides even more bulk with what he already has.
I'm surprised he gets Aurora Veil because, Game Freak.
Yeah, right.
Don't get the Aurora Pokemon Aurora Veil.
But doesn't Aurora Veil need to have Hail set up before it can use
Aurora
it?
does get
Snow Warning now.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, of course.
Yeah. So obviously the Tapu Bulu Heatran core is great. It's never gonna stop being good.
Mm-hmm.
Zygarde 50. It's obviously a very prominent physical sweeper. Araquanid, great. I don't think it's the best sticky web user. I think Galvantula still holds that spot.
I think you're. Well, I mean, obviously we haven't seen it in kind of the format, but
I still think Galvantula is going to be better.
I don't know how powerful. How powerful is that liquidation with Water Bubble?
Don't worry about it.
It's pretty strong.
The two magic balancers in the form of Espeon and something else. Mega Sableye. I'm not even gonna. If I play this team, which I do, because he's in my division, I'm not even gonna bother trying to bring hazards. I'm not.
There's no point.
Yeah. There's not really a lot other than a Araquanid that really cares about it.
Do you want me to tell you what the power of Water Bubble is?
I don't need to know. You don't have to remind me.
You sure?
I'm good. It's 250 something, right?
It's 252.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 255. Sorry, my apologies. 255. Yeah.
Yeah. His speed, it's fine. It's great. It's pretty good speed tiers.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah. So
with Crobat and Zorora and Mienshao and Espeon, I mean his speed, and then he has a good setup sweeper in Zygarde. We haven't talked about Zygarde.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
You can't cover this team. You can't cover how good this team actually is in one.
Zygarde with Bulu Heatran is amazing because Thousand Arrows isn't affected by grassy terrain, so I think the synergy is really good.
I actually did not even think of that. That's even okay. I'm moving this team to 1. No, I'm just kidding.
Nope, I'm still keeping it 2. Trust me, when we go over our first number 1 team, it'll sense.
The number 1 team's insane. My only issue is that I feel like in draft format, Smeagol's limited to how well he can use it, because if you bring a normal a hazard Smeagol, which I don't think he really needs to bring all the time because he's got stuff like Araquanid.
Right.
I think that becomes really predictable because either you taunt it, and then he could use something like a Mental Herb, but then he doesn't have a sash, and Smeagol isn't bulky enough, nor is it fast enough to really fulfill that role particularly that well. So But the thing about Smeagol is it learns every single move. So I think how well Smeagol does is all really down to him.
Alright, we're gonna move on to the number 1 team. How's that sound?
Sure.
Let's move on to the number 1 squad. We have the London Lycanroc, and I'm gonna let Haz go ahead and start us off.
Oh, it pains me. It pains me so much to put this at number 1. I wanted to put this as low as possible, but this team, let's start with its defensive core, because Sylveon, Cofagrigus...
Yeah, we'll get to his offense in a second.
Yeah. I don't even want to think about his offense, but it's just first of all, Milotic. I think from the first 2 seasons, we know how well he's used. He's won multiple games. A game against me in season 1. Just from pretty much leaning on Milotic. I think Sylveon Cofagrigus is going to be pretty hard to take down. Especially Sylveon, it's a really good wish passer, and I think Cofagrigus is really, really slept on as well. Being able to start things like Toxic Spikes, it can be a great nasty plot sweeper, and then they can also do stuff like it can even be a good Trick Room sweeper. And then he has stuff like Lurantis, which can really make the most out of that Trick Room. But I think the star of his team comes down in Alolan Ninetales, which I just want to say I suggested that to him, so I want full credit, Cav.
So all this is your fault. So all this is your fault.
Yeah. This team is number one because of me.
Okay, I will have to play him this year too. Okay, he is in the Apple Conference. Wonderful.
It's just Alolan Ninetales with Aurora Veil just makes because the main issue with Naganadel, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Its main issue is that it's really bulky, so sometimes it can be hard to really set up nasty plots. But with an Aurora Veil, that's no longer really a problem, and then this thing can just sweep through your team. It's so scary, especially with Z moves, which I think is the main reason why it's in Ubers now. And then even taking that away. He also has his defensive core. Also, would really appreciate that Aurora Veil, which means he can basically stall out his opponents if he really wants to. I just think Alolan Ninetales just glues his team together so well, and that also he has a really great sand core between Landoi and Mega Titar, and also those two really appreciate the Aurora Veil because they can both set up. Mega Tyranitar is a really good Dragon Dance Pokemon, whilst Landoi can double dance along with Cobalion.
Let's move it on.
Overall, I think his team
you're taking all the time.
Balance.
You're killing me, Has.
I have so much. It's so good.
I agree.
It's so good.
We'll see if Gengar's got anything else to add.
Yeah. This team's just incredible. It really is. Like Naganadel, it's not shocking that he went first in the draft overall. Yeah. Like I love his two different weather setters, Ninetales and Mega Titar. His defensive core is on point. Like I was originally a little iffy on his hazard removal, but then I realized both Lurantis got defog and Lanners Incarnate now gets defog. It's like they're like Sigilif. Can we talk about that real quick? How good it can be. If you can get
it's so annoying.
If you can get a cosmic power or two up, just keep going and going and going to sweep everything with stored power. It's predictable, but there's a reason it works.
I hate Sigilif so much.
All right, let me hop in here then.
Go ahead.
So here's how I think you're gonna have to prep for this team. You have to stop Ninetales, because if Ninetales gets up one Aurora Veil, I don't even see you stopping something from setting up. So you're not gonna stop Naganadel, you're not gonna stop Titar, you're not gonna stop Sigilif. You're just not going to. And so you're gonna have to read every single situation. Can he bring in Ninetales on my move? And am I gonna be able to stop it? So you're gonna have to bring every Brick Break user you have. Does Defog get rid of that?
Yep.
So you're gonna bring your Defog, bring in your Defogger at the same time. So then after that, you have to worry about, can Sigilif set up on me? Can Titar set up on me? Can Landoi knock out my Mon? Can Choice Spec Sylveon knock out my Mon? Can Melodic come in here and Mirror Coat my face? I don't even know. I don't know where to start. I don't even know when I play him. I don't know what week. But I don't want to know. I'm going to be absent that week. I'm just not even going to show up. Just give him the 3-0. But, I mean, like I said, the number one, you're going to have to stop. I mean, you're probably going to have to try to get Rocks up first, because that'll limit his Ninetales a little bit. And then you're going to have your Defogger on standby. You're going to have to bring 3 Defoggers. or, 2 Defoggers and a Brick Break user. Because if that Aurora Veil gets up, I mean, Naganadel just has a heyday. Sigilif comes in and clicks one Cosmic Power, and you're not killing it. You're going to have to bring Roar. I think Roar might be huge. A red card. Might need to just have somebody with a red card in the back just for Naganadel if it just gets out of hand. So the things you're going to have to do to prep for this team are just going to make you drive. They're going to drive you insane. So.
But even with red card, I think they have to survive the hit in order for it to be switched out. That just makes it. It's not even that reliable.
Is that not possible? Dang. I tried.
I
tried. I don't know. I got you.
If there was any weakness system, I think outside of Mega Titar doesn't have great ghost switch-ins. That's my only issue with this team.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, if you can get the momentum on his team to where something is always in against Ninetales that can threaten it out, then you'll be fine. But I think this team centers around Ninetales and Aurora Veil.
Once you get an Aurora Veil up, everything is a ghost switch-in.
Yeah.
Everything
that's
switching.
very true.
I mean, I can kind of tell this team is a little weak to Darkrai. That's about it. I mean, that's about it.
Well, approximately.
Which team isn't weak to Darkrai?
That's
then?
true. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I forgot. Speaking of Darkrai, I forgot to make my Z captain pick. So we're gonna end the video on that. How's that sound?
Is it Darkrai?
It is, in fact, the Z Darkrai is coming to the squad. So I will be bringing Z Darkrai to the team, and we are going to wrap it up here, guys. So definitely check out the video and check out a link to, I think, Gengar's YouTube in the description. And thank you guys for coming out.
How long has this been?
An hour and 20 minutes.
Cool.
All right. So,
watch it through that.
Let's see if anyone's actually watched to the end. Do we have to do some secret passwords?
All right. Yes. So if you watch to the end,
type comment down below. Z Darkrai.
Z Darkrai. Yep, there it is.
Comment
And
down
you
below.
will get, and I will send you personally a bag of M&Ms.
Well, if
Wait,
you
can I have
don't like
if I comment it?
M&Ms?
If I comment it?
No, not you.
Ah.
All right, guys, we're getting out of here. Bye.
Bye.
All right.